Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Marvel Champions. We're going to be going up against Ultron using Captain Marvel and She-Hulk. But before we do that, I haven't really taken an opportunity to talk about like my own experience with Marvel. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched an entire Marvel movie. I've seen clips on YouTube, of course, and so I've kind of pieced together the general overall plot of like various things like Endgame and all that. But I grew up on like the old X-Men cartoon, the Spider-Man cartoon. Saw a little bit of the Fantastic Four cartoon. There was the Incredible Hulk cartoon that eventually included She-Hulk. And I think that's all I really watched back in the day. I did have a few comics. In fact, I do own a few comics right now that a coworker gave to me when I was doing an internship. But yeah, my experience with X-Men is kind of limited. I did play the X-Men arcade game back in the day, and I played a few old school like Genesis games. I think, yeah, I've played some of the X-Men games that were on the Sega Genesis way back in the day. So yeah, my overall experience with Marvel is somewhat limited. There was actually, I think when I was a kid, I had one of those it was like one of those find the object books, like kind of almost like Where's Waldo, but for more specific objects. And there was an X-Men. I had an X-Men one of that showed off like all sorts of environments and villains that I never really got to see in the cartoons, like the Brood and so forth. Speaking of, like, I don't know how old this game is exactly, but there's like a lot. There's a lot of characters and villains they can definitely do. Like they have. I don't think they have yet to mess around with the Brood unless it's a module set. And then there's of course Onslaught and stuff like that. And then I always get surprised when I go to the Marvel DB and kind of just look up the list of heroes, and all of a sudden find more that I didn't even know about that had been released. Like I believe the most recent ones are like Jubilee, Magic, and some others. Obviously, there was I was the last one I was actually aware of was the Deadpool and was it X-23 or whatever it is, whatever her name is. So yeah, just want to kind of mention those types of things. I do hope this game kind of sticks around because there's definitely a lot of content they can tap into and show off. The other thing I wanted to go ahead and talk about is we haven't really had too many opportunities to run into. We've had no opportunities to run into these characters' nemesis yet. There's only one card that really will trigger that, which is I think on the other side here. It's this Shadows of the Past card. They did introduce some variants of Shadows of the Past that is a little bit more consistent as far as triggering it is concerned. But in all honesty, I do kind of like it that it's just kind of a very rare thing because much like the obligations, each hero has their own obligation and their own arch nemesis, and it honestly has a varying level of difficulty. Like Rogue's obligation and Rogue's arch nemesis are much worse than anything that these two run into. Dark Phoenix is definitely pretty infamous because she actually adds a new lose condition to your game. So it's more like a neat surprise that kind of adds more variability to the game, much like the module system. So I'm kind of okay with just sticking with the standard 7-card pack and not any of the more advanced stuff. Anyway, with all that said and done, let's go ahead and dive into this. So I've already got some of the stuff set up. We got Ultron here. He's a villain, of course. He's an android. 1 scheme, 2 attack. Forced response. After Ultron attacks you, choose either to place 1 threat on the main scheme or put the top card of your deck into play face down, engaged with you as a drone minion. So the one time I did try this before from the scrapped playlist, I first opted to do the threat, and that was a bad idea. You're better off dealing with the drones. So as for the drones, let's go ahead and take a look at the Crimson Cow here. Claw's mysterious red hooded employer is really the genocidal android Ultron. Contents are Ultron 1 and 2 on standard mode. And then you have the Ultron and standard encounter sets, which we'll go ahead and add in now. And then 1 module encounter set, which I've already added in, and the recommended one is under attack. Also, as part of the setup, you put the Ultra Drone's environment into play, and then shuffle the encounter deck and advance to 1B. So we'll go ahead and shuffle this now. And these are the Ultron drones. Each face-down drone minion engaged with a player has a base scheme of 1 and a base attack of 1 and a base hit points of 1. Forced response. After a face-down drone is defeated, place that card in its owner's discard pile. So what makes Ultron very dangerous is he picks apart your deck. He's going to literally take your own cards and make them into drone minions that you have to deal with. And the only way to get those cards back is to literally defeat those drones and then get them back into your discard. There's definitely variety of posts that like, oh, well, if you're playing Captain America, pray that you don't lose your shield right off the bat. So, yeah, that's kind of the gist of it there. Let's see, do we need to shuffle cards yet? Pretty sure we need to. So SI obligations. Yeah, we shuffle player decks before we do the villain stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle them now because it's important that we do it right now. Okay. And then let's go ahead and go to 1B. Sorry, I kind of went a little out of order there. Crimson Cow. So we have 2 players here, so it's going to be 6 threat to advance. So it advances really fast. It starts at 0 and then it gains 2 every villain phase. Ultron is used in the components of Claw delivered in order to build an army of Ultron drones. Each player, when revealed, which is right now, each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down, engage with them as a drone minion. So literally, before you even get a chance to draw cards, you will have you've already lost 1 card in your deck, and you're not going to see it again until you kill that drone and then cycle through or do something to get your discard pile back, which means usually probably just cycling through your deck. Anyway, so that takes care of that. We resolved the scheme setup. We shuffled in counter deck. We're good on. Oh, actually, we need to do that still. Obligations added in. Obligation added in. And shuffle. And with that, now we go straight into Mulligan. Okay. So I've already shuffled, and I've already taken the top card here. So let's go ahead and draw. Oh, I need to set myself to player red. There we go. Player red lets me actually do draw instead of deal. All right, what are we looking at here? Squirrel Girl's a good start because she can do AoE damage, which will kill the drones pretty quickly. Unfortunately, everything else here we're kind of limited on. Alright. Well, we're definitely not going to do anything with the Photonic Blast or the Strength in Numbers. Or the... I mean, to be honest... Let's do these 3 cards. The Avengers Mansion's good, but I don't have the means to actually... Actually, I might have the means to play it. I keep forgetting, you know, I'm Carol Danvers. I could freaking draw a card. So with that in mind, let's just get rid of the cards that I was going to be discarding anyway. And we'll see how this goes. If worst case scenario is I can get out Avengers Tower and get out Squirrel Girl and at least get that started. So let's go ahead and draw. Okay. So I can go, what, these 2 to get Avengers Tower out. Draw a card, maybe. Okay, I might be able to get some things going with that. Alright. And then over here we got She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters. Let's go ahead and deal to blue. Alright. Hellcat at the beginning is pretty good. We don't want any of these or the repurpose. The limitless stamina we might be able to put to work. Or not, because those are much better to get out. Alright. Well, we definitely want the Superhuman Law Division. I was actually kind of worried about losing that to a drone. Alright. So, good cards, but I'm going to have to pick and choose what I want to play around with. Hellcat. So I think the priorities are going to be the Quinn carry. Oh, I have to be Avenger to do that, don't I? Okay. So it would be what? These 2. So it'll be something like this, maybe. Yeah. this is a little bit of a rough start because I'm gonna have to pick and choose. I'll probably end up having to give up Hellcat. Actually, I think I almost rather get rid of Focused Rage at this point, or I can hold on to it. All right. Well, in any case, we can go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Carol Danvers. Well, sorry, first player has to be always the left mat. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw a card with Carol Danvers. Okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and discard Cosmic Flight and the other Cosmic Flight to play Avengers Tower. And then I'm going to exhaust Avengers Tower. Wait a second. Let's do this in the correct order. I'm going to discard Avengers Mansion and Crisis Interdiction to get out Ironheart. And that'll let me, after you play Ironheart from your hand, draw one card. And we can live without the Triskelion for now. All right, then I'll go ahead and exhaust the Avengers Tower and discard the Triskelion to get out Squirrel Girl, which is going to do 1 damage to each enemy. All right, so lead from the front, and the other one was a Ground Stomp. Okay, and then 1 damage to Ultron. Now Squirrel Girl's ability. Come on, squirrels, let's get him. All right, and that's pretty much it on that end. I could stay as Carol Danvers for this round. So here's the risk. So there are 3 steps to this main scheme. And if we get to the second scheme, things get much worse. The drones just get a lot more out of control. So even something as simple as getting 2 threat and then having letting Ultron scheme once, there's a chance if I drew like a 3 boost, then it immediately advances. So I'm just gonna have to go ahead and flip and just get to work. I'm gonna go ahead and punch. I'm gonna flip to Captain Marvel and punch him for 2. Yeah, I can't afford to. I mean, if I stayed as Jennifer Walters, that's at least I can at least mitigate some of the threat generation. Which, you know what? That might be what I have to do. So originally I was thinking about switching, but honestly, let's discard Limitless Stamina to play Superhuman Law Division. I can't play the Quinn Carrier because I'm not an Avenger right now, which sucks because Quinn Carrier is actually useful for resources. But what I can do is go ahead and just discard Focus Rage, Quinn Carrier, and Limitless Stamina to get out Hellcat. And then I could just stay as Jennifer Walters this round. So if I stay as Jennifer Walters, he's only going to get 1 threat from the step 1, and then he's going to scheme. Now, if he does back-to-back scheming, then I'm screwed either way. Yeah, it's just a risk we're going to have to take. All right. We'll go ahead and go to Captain Marvel here. Ready cards, draw. Photonic Blast. Okay, that's not bad at all. All right. And then Jennifer Walters, you can go ahead and draw. I mean, keeping you in this form will be somewhat helpful regardless. All right. And then it goes to villain phase. So villain's going to get 1 threat. It's supposed to be 2, but I object. Then he's going to punch Captain Marvel here. And I'm not going to defend. We'll let whatever's happening gonna happen. All right, and I'll shuffle this one more time just in case, because I don't remember if I did. Okay, 2 damage, so it's gonna do a total of 3. Okay, and then scheme. Oh, also, after Ultron attacks you, choose to either put 1 threat or put a face-down card as a minion. As a drone, sorry. So I will spawn a drone. I've already learned my lesson. Don't pick the threat option. All right. And then he's going to scheme. Nothing, so only one. All right, and then encounter card, encounter card. All right, legal work. So since the obligations go to the hero it belongs to, I can go ahead and either I can, yeah, an acceleration token. No, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and exhaust her and remove this from the game. All right, and then for her, assault. As an alter ego, this gains surge. When revealed, deal 1 damage to each friendly character. Okay, concussive blast. All right, this is actually, it says friendly character, so literally everybody. That's pretty rough. Damage, 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 and damage. Damaging Hellcat kind of sucks. All right, and then we can go ahead and discard. Oop, that did something weird. All right, whatever. I'm not going to worry about the order there. Thankfully, I don't have any abilities that care about the discard pile order. Okay, and then that is everything. So we'll go ahead and pass the rock. All right, so Jennifer Walters is currently exhausted, which is fine by me. What we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and use a strength to go ahead and get out superhuman strength. I'm going to go ahead and exhaust superhuman law division and discard gamma slam. And this is mainly just to get rid of the threat that's on here. And the rest of it I don't really care for right now. From heal damage from your alter ego. I'm gonna, since I have nothing else I can do right now, I'm gonna go ahead and just use both these 1-2 punches to play recuperation and just heal back to full. I don't need to keep those in my hand right now. All right. And Hellcat, I'm just gonna let her stay out here for now. All right, then we go to Captain Marvel. I'm gonna go ahead and use this Genius to bring out enhanced reflexes, which will of course start with 3 counters. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and use Ironheart. To kill the drone. So far, it hasn't been too bad. I'm going to go ahead and use energy absorption. Actually, before we do that, I am going to go ahead and use her ability. Use a charge from this to heal 1 damage and draw a card. Okay. That is completely fine. All right. Fortunately, no Avengers for me to play around with. I'm going to go ahead and use energy absorption to play Photonic Blast, which will do 5 damage. And she gets to draw a card. Those. Okay, we got Stinger. I'm going to use the Avengers Tower to play Stinger, because it reduces the next Avenger ally played by 1, and he only cost 1, or she only cost 1. I'm then going to go ahead and play Energy Channel, and then I'm going to use this Crisis Interdiction to put a charge on it. And then I will... I'm going to go ahead and punch for 2 damage. So I'll keep Captain Marvel in her hero form for the time being. As much as I would like to switch back and forth, I want to try to buy... Did I not remove that? Hold on a second. Okay, yeah, I had a brain fart. I did 2 damage and instead added threat, so I should be doing 2 damage here. There we go, down to 24. Okay, that is everybody. All right, so She-Hulk will continue drawing 6 cards. All right. So what I'll probably do is eventually, I think, depending on how things play out, I might go ahead and tag in She-Hulk for a bit. If things get too dangerous. Pretty strong start, though. And that confusion would be nice. Okay. Go ahead and ready. And let's get started. All right. Enemy phase. Villain's going to get threat. It's going to be 2, but -1 because of I object. Then he's going to scheme. +1, so 2. All right. And then I'm going to get punched. I will go ahead and have... Actually, I'll just take it. Nothing. So it does 2 damage. And then I will put a drone out. Okay. And then encounter card. When revealed, discard an upgrade or support you control. If no cards were discarded this way, this card gains Surge. Alright. Unfortunately, the only upgrade I have that I can discard is this Superhuman Strength or the Superhuman Law Division. Was there a human at any point at all where you actually believe you are going to win? Alright. Yeah, so unfortunately, I was going to use this to stun, but that's okay. So bye-bye you. And then for you, attach the... Okay. Vibranium Armor, attach the villain. After the villain takes damage, give it a tough status card. Exhaust your hero and spend 2 strength resources to discard this card. Alright, pretty brutal. So every time we do damage to this guy, he's going to get a tough status card. Okay. With that, we'll go ahead and pass the rock. And let's get started. So, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and spend a charge from this to heal 1 and draw a card. Alright. Yours. I will go ahead and... I'm going to go ahead and punch. Actually, I'll have Stinger kill the drone. And then I'll have Captain Marvel thwart for this. Alright, and then I'm going to have her flip. And I'll use her ability to draw a card. Okay, that's what I wanted. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and use Power of Leadership to play Maria Hill. So both players can go, believe it or not, we all want the same thing. She'll draw a card, and so will She-Hulk. Okay, perfect. We don't have Triskelion. I do want to get Spider-Woman out. I'm going to go ahead and do... So I could do this plus this. Yeah, because she's Avenger. So yeah, I can... Yeah, so reduce the next cost of my Avenger card by 1, or ally card by 1, and then I'll use energy to play Spider-Woman, and I'll discard Stinger because I can only have 3 right now because not all of them are Avengers. When Spider-Woman comes into play, enters play, confuse the villain. This is what I wanted, helping the innocent by hospitalizing the guilty. All right, so confuse. All right, and then I'll go ahead and do strength in numbers to draw 3 cards by exhausting all of them. 1, 2, 3. All right. Then I will go ahead and I won't be able to deal with the vibranium armor anyway. Okay, yeah, so we'll just keep it simple. Discard Lead from the Front and Strength to play Helicarrier. And then I'll discard these two to play Enhance Reflexes. I'll go ahead and spend a charge of it to go ahead and put a charge on this. And then I'll use the Helicarrier on another player and reduce the resource cost of their next card they play this phase by 1. So I'll do that on She-Hulk, or Jennifer Walters in this case. All right, that is it for Carol Danvers. We'll go to Jennifer Walters here. So the first card she plays will be at reduced cost. So let's go ahead and get out so I want at least these two. Alright, we don't need Ground Stomp or What Doesn't Kill Me. And I'll play Focused Rage for only 2 because I had the Helicarrier benefit. I will go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and thwart for 2 to get this back down to 0. And then I'm going to use her ability to put her back into my hand. I will then proceed to go Bait and Switch and Hellcat to play Energy Barrier. Oh, actually, no. Sorry, let's take that back. Step it back. I forgot I can do Focus Rage. All right, so we can make this work. I'm going to go ahead and flip. Response actually, so this is not a force response, so I don't have to do it. So I'm not going to, because if I did damage, it would actually just give him tough. I mean, I could use Hellcat for that. You know what? Yeah, actually, I will do the 2 damage. And he can have a tough. And then I'll use Hellcat to get rid of said tough. Okay. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't even need to do that much. You know, you can keep your tough. Yeah, that'll work. All right, I will take a damage using Focus Rage to draw a card. I will discard Repurpose and Bait and Switch to get out Energy Barrier. And then I'm going to exhaust She-Hulk and discard Legal Practice and Downtime, which are both strength icons, and get rid of the Vibranium armor. All right. And then we'll go ahead and draw cards. So Carol Danvers is going to get 6 cards. We're already on our way to getting extra encounter cards, which are going to be scary. All right. We're probably going to end up using that Honorary Avenger, probably. All right, and then for you, you're only going to get 4 cards. And that's actually, out of those cards, that's actually pretty good. Okay, we'll go ahead and go straight into Ultron's turn. Ultron's going to get 2 threat this time because I'm not in lawyer mode. Carol Danvers, he's going to scheme against Carol Danvers, which that'll use up the confusion, and then he's going to punch She-Hulk, which I'm going to let happen. All right. Boost. Choose to either spend a energy resource or put the top card of your deck into play face down, engage with you as a drone minion. Sure. Okay, and it's going to do 2 whole damage. I'm going to reduce that damage by 1 using Energy Barrier, which is going to do 1 damage back to him, which this will eat up the tough. Because it's any time damage is dealt, it doesn't have to be from an attack. Alright. Then we get to do encounter cards. Oh, actually, sorry, I got hit as well. I'm going to choose to take another drone. As you can see, it gets a little out of control here. You get an encounter card, and you get an encounter card. When revealed, Ultron heals 2 damage for each drone minion engaged with you. If no damage was healed this way, this card gains Surge. Okay. There are no drones with Carol Danvers right now. Advance the villain schemes. I am Ultron 6, a cybernetic intelligence created by Dr. Henry Pym. My imperative is to bring peace and order to this world. Alright. Here's the boost card. And unfortunately, it's going to advance. Alright. Assault on NORAD. As you pursue Ultron, you receive a distress call from the North American Aerospace Defense Command in Colorado. They are besieged by an army of Ultron drones. Each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down. Engage with them as a drone minion. Advance to 2B. So, here's a drone. Here's a drone. Alright, and then... So the mistake I made the first time I played this was I treated that as 10. The advance is actually supposed to be 20. Big difference. In any case, starts at 0, gains 2. If Ultron gains control of NORAD, he will have access to United States Ballistic Missile Command. After placing threat during step 1 of the villain phase, each player must choose to either place 2 threat here or put the top card of their deck into play face down, engage with them as a drone minion. So the drones are going to get more out of control. But yeah, we lasted as long as we could. It was bound to happen. I knew the moment we got the encounter card where he schemes an additional time, that was going to be it for us. Over here, we have Swarm Attack. Each drone minion engaged with your hero attacks. If no attacks are made this way, put the top card of your deck into play face down with you as a drone minion. Okie dokie. So real quick, I need to verify something. Okay, I did make a mistake. So when the drone minion spawns after attacking you, then the drone minion should be attacking you as well. So I should have been taking extra hits there. Give me a moment. Okay, so to resolve the earlier rounds, each round that Captain Marvel got attacked and spawned a drone, that drone should have hit her 1. So she is actually down to 6 right now because she spawned a drone. She was staying in Captain Marvel form for 2 rounds and spawned a drone each time. As for She-Hulk, this drone spawned with this drone once we advanced. These 2 spawned during one of them spawned because of the boost, and then the other spawned because of Ultron himself. So I should have been attacked by these 2 drones, and what I'm going to do for each of those is use a charge for each of them to take 0 damage and immediately kill them. Alright, and then this will spawn, and then this will do its thing, which is each drone minion engaged with your hero attacks. If no attacks are made this way, put the top card of your deck into play face down. So I'm going to get attacked by 1 drone. Alright, and also this should have been resolved. There we go. Alright, sorry for all the confusion. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to get hit for 1 more damage, and I'm okay with that. Alright, that is all the encounter cards. So now we pass the rock, and we got some work to do. I am going to go ahead and... actually, I don't really have anything that special I need to do right now. We're going to start spawning lots of drones now, which kind of sucks. And there's not really that much we can do about it. It also means that we're going to be spawning drones even if we are in alter ego form, which is also another issue. Alright, so I'm going to do energy to get out superhuman strength. And then I'm going to attack for 5 on Ultron. And we'll put stun on him. This gets discarded. And then I'm going to discard Bait and Switch to put out 1/2 punch, and then punch for 3 more damage. Alright. And then as for Hellcat, kind of okay with letting the scheme get a little out of control. Yeah, I'll go ahead and switch to Ultra Ego at this point. Alright. And then for Captain Marvel, I'm going to go ahead and use her ability to draw a card. And then that's going to get us an encounter card, and then this gets reshuffled. Like so. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and make Maria Hill an honorary Avenger. Just going to shift these down. Alright. And now that all my allies are Avengers, I can now increase my ally limit by 1. I'm going to go ahead and use Avengers Tower and Power of Leadership to play White Tiger, and I'll be able to draw a card from that. I am going to go ahead and attack with Squirrel Girl to kill the drone here. I'm then going to go ahead and use Helicarrier to get out Alpha Flight Station. I'm then going to go ahead and do Power of Leadership to get out Hawkeye. And then I'm going to do Strength in Numbers. Yeah, these are all Avengers, so I still have 4 slots. I'm going to use Strength in Numbers and exhaust 4 allies to draw 4 cards. 2, 3, 4. Okay. I am going to go ahead and discard Captain Marvel's helmet to draw 2 cards. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch to hero form. Ooh, actually, I'm not in good shape right now. I am going to go ahead and exhaust and heal for 4 to do recover. I'm then going to go to hero form and use a charge from Enhanced Reflexes to heal another damage and draw a card. Holy cow. Alright. Got a little bit of a full house here. I'm going to use Energy Absorption to play Photonic Blast and deal 5 damage. And draw a card. Sorry for all the zooming. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and use the final charge of this Enhanced Reflexes to get out Stinger. I'll use Stinger to go ahead and kill this drone. And then I'm going to use the Triskelion, Strength in Numbers, Crisis Interdiction, and Crisis Interdiction to play Avengers Assemble. So all Avenger characters you control will get readied and get +1/+1. Alright, so this is all our stuff. It does, honorary Avengers do count. I will then proceed to hit for 3 damage, 3 damage, 3 damage. Actually, we'll do it that way. Alright, so that is enough to take him down to 0. Next phase of Ultron. So he now has 2 scheme to attack. Force interrupt when Ultron attacks you, put the top card of your deck into play face down, engage with you as a drone. Until the end of the attack, Ultron gets +1 attack for each drone minion engaged with you. So in combination with this, it's going to get brutal. Yeah, and the attack it's when he attacks, which means it's even before he does the resolution for it. So essentially he's getting +1, he's spawning a drone, he's going to be having 4 attack. He's going to be brutal. So with that, and his HP right now is 44, 22 per player. And there's a reason why he's the big villain for this for the core box here. All right. I'm then going to go ahead and proceed to do 2 damage, 3 damage, and 2 damage. So I do 7. All right. I did what I could. Yep. Did what I could. All right. Here goes nothing. So we'll go ahead and draw our cards for She-Hulk. Okay, so next round she's going to advance. Okay, split personality is good. All right, yeah, we got some. We got a few things we can play around with that. Okay. I can definitely do quite a bit of punishment to Ultron, but we'll see. Alright, as for you, you get to draw 5. Already back down to 10 cards, good times. Lead from the front, Avengers Mansion, strength in numbers. Okay. So assuming I don't get hit with that weird AoE effect again, that did 1 damage to all friendlies, I might be able to do additional punishment this next round. Alright. First things first, add threat, and then I have to decide to either place more threat here or spawn drones. I'm okay with spawning a drone with Jennifer Walters. And I'm honestly okay with spawning a drone here as well. Alright. I'm then going to get attacked by Ultron, and Ultron is going to eat up the stun. He's then going to scheme against Jennifer Walters. Oh, sorry, it should have been 1 threat because I am Jennifer Walters, so I object. Alright, now he's going to scheme for 3 in total. Because he now has 2 scheme, and now he has +1 from that boost. And then the drone's going to scheme for 1. So it's up to 5 out of 20. Alright. Then we get our encounter card. Attached to the Ultra Drone's environment. Each face-down drone minion gets +1 attack, +1 HP. And you spend 1 of each resource to force it to discard as a hero action. And then as for you, give to Carol Danvers. Alright, I can go ahead and flip you to Alter Ego. And I'll exhaust you to get rid of you. Alright, so obligations are dealt with. And then this thing is... Oh, alright. First time dealing with Shadows of the Past. Okay. Reveal your set-aside Nemesis minion and put it into play. Put it into play, engage with you. Reveal your set-aside Nemesis. Set-aside Nemesis side scheme and put it into play. And then shuffle the rest of the set-aside Nemesis encounter set into the encounter deck. If your Nemesis minion does not enter the game this way, this card gains surge. So if there was ever a situation where you had your Nemesis already out and you drew this again, then you get the fun. Alright. So, Yon-Rog, force respawn. After Yon-Rog attacks, place 1 threat on the Psych Magnetron. It isn't real power unless they fear you. 2 scheme, 3 attack, 5 health. And then over here we have the Psych Magnetron, which has 3 threat at the start. When revealed, place an additional 2 threat here. and then it has the additional encounter card while it's active. The Psych Magnetron is a Kree device with the power to turn thoughts into reality. In the hands of Yon-Rogg, it would be a devastating weapon. Alright, so with that, I mean, to be honest, I think I'd rather deal with Yon-Rogg than freaking Titania here, who would start with 6 attack. I mean, she's honestly not that bad because you can easily get her down to 1 HP with a swap with She-Hulk here. Alright, so with all that said and done, let's get to work. Alright, pass the rock. And we need to get some stuff done. Carol Danvers is going to go ahead and draw a card with her special ability. Alright. I am going to go ahead I'm going to use Helicarrier and Energy Absorption to get out Avengers Mansion. Support, max 1 per player, exhaust Avengers Mansion, choose 1 player, that player draws 1 card. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and use Alpha Flight Station to discard Strength in Numbers to draw 2 cards. Alright. I'm then going to go ahead and I have to be in hero mode to do this, don't I? Yeah, I do. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and it's a hero action to do that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and switch to hero mode, even though I'm exhausted. I'm going to go ahead and use Enhanced Reflexes, the last charge of it, to heal 1 damage and draw a card. Okay. So that's what we're looking at right now. Okay. I think I have everything I care about. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to take the energy channel. Oh yeah, that should have been discarded a while ago. I'll take the energy channel, the crisis interdiction, and the strength to go ahead and hero action this away. I'm then going to go ahead and use energy to put 2 charges on this. And then I'm going to use Genius to play lead from the front. Alright. Each character that player controls gets +1 thwart and +1 attack. And that's where we're at right now. Alright. So here's what we have. We can do 2, 3. Sorry. 2, 5, 8, 11, 13. So I can do 13 damage right now. Sorry, 13, and then this will be 21. So I can do 21 damage right now, taking him down to 16. Could I kill him? I guess we have one way of finding out. I'm going to go ahead and use Avengers Mansion to let Jennifer Walters draw a card. Okay. So I can do, was it 21? I can easily do... So that's 21, 23, 26, 29. I can almost kill him. Keyword being almost. Alright. So I think we'll do the YOLO strat. We'll see what happens. So, 2, 5, 8, 11, 13. So that's 13 damage. This guy, Maria Hill is the only one that's going to live. The rest of them are going to pass away, unfortunately. So 13 damage. I'll go ahead and get rid of Energy Channel for 8 damage. All right. And then we'll go to Jennifer Walters here. All right, Jennifer Walters. Let's go ahead and go straight into hero form. Do 2 damage with her with Do You Even Lift. I'm then going to attack her for 3, or attack it for 3. So it's down to 11. I'm then going to go ahead and use a Preservation and Ready to Rumble to pay for what doesn't kill me. So this Preservation is a wild, so it does count as a strength. Since I'm spending this, I do gain 1 health. And then what doesn't kill me is going to heal for another 2, bringing me to 15, and Ready's the hero. I'm then going to proceed to hit for another 3 damage, putting it down to 8. I'm going to go ahead and take a damage using Focus Rage to draw a card. And then, unfortunately, I don't think I have enough to do what I want to do. So I can do 4 more damage, but that by itself is not going to be enough. So yeah, I think what I'll have to do at this point is choose and discard up to 5 cards. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to play actually it's Alter Ego, so I can't play it. Never mind. So it's just going to sit in my hand, be annoying. All right, actually, I have a solution. All right, we got this. I'm going to use Legal Practice to play Limitless Stamina. As long as I have 14 or more HP, I can ready my hero. So I ready. I'll do 3 damage again. I'm then going to hit for 1 with Hellcat, putting it down to 4. And then I'm going to use Hellcat's ability to return her to my hand. And then I'm going to play Split Personality using all these cards. Which will... Oh, also I need to... When did I draw that card? So real quick, I need to rewind real quick to figure out when I did that Focus Rage. Okay, it happened right after I did the What Doesn't Kill Me. So this should have reshuffled at this point, adding in an encounter card. Alright, then these still go to the discard pile, then these go to the discard pile, and then the Split Personality comes in, switching me to hero form again. Or not hero form, but Alter Ego, and then I draw up to 6 cards. As so. And I will go ahead and spend a strength to get out this energy barrier. And unfortunately, I don't have anything that actually triggers superhuman law. Alright, and then that's it. So we'll go to Captain Marvel to ready everything and draw 5 cards, which is going to be all of these. She's also going to do get another encounter card. Alright, and then for you, I'm going to discard Recuperation, but I'm keeping everything else. So I only draw 3 cards, which is fine. Alright, so Ultron, you're going to get 1 threat because of I object. Then you're going to punch, or sorry, after that, each player must choose to either put a threat or drones. At this point, I'm actually going to take the threat. So go up to actually, Jennifer Walters can take a drone. All right. Oh, one thing to note about Ultron Phase 2 is you don't get the option to take threat instead of the drone. You have to take the drone. All right. Then it goes to Ultron attacking, so that's going to spawn a drone, no matter what. And I'm going to go ahead and have Maria Hill defend. If the villain, so this is one of the Kree manipulators. Surge after this card is okay. After this, okay, that's only if as an encounter card. All right, so the boost if the villain is making an undefended attack, place 1 threat on the main scheme. This is not an undefended attack; it's being defended by Maria Hill, so we're good on that front. So thankfully, he is going to hit for 4 damage because there's 2 drones. So yeah, 4 damage to Maria Hill. She had like 1 HP left, so those are gone. Yan Rong is going to attack next, which is going to put a threat on the Psych Magnetron. And I'll just, it'll just do 3 damage. And then he's going to scheme next. Oh, sorry, then the drones attack. Each will do 1 damage, I'll take it. Then it goes to Jennifer Walters, here comes the scheming. Plus 1, so it does 3. So it's 11 out of 20, not 10, which was the mistake I made before. Each of the drones will scheme for 1 each. All right. And then we get to have the fun stuff. So it's going to go encounter card here, and we're going to get an additional 1 from the Psych Magnetron here. So 3 encounter cards for Captain Marvel. Let's see if we can live long enough to do anything about this. Okay, advanced Ultron drone guard forced to interrupt when advanced Ultron drone is defeated. The engaged player puts the top card of their deck into spawns a drone. 1 scheme, 1 attack, 4 health. All right, Asgard. It's getting a little crowded over here. Kree manipulator. It surges. Place 1 threat on the main scheme, so it's up to 14, and then it's going to surge. Android efficiency. When revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play, face down, engage with them as a drone minion. Here's another drone. Here's another drone. All right, and then you. Hey, another Ultron advanced drone. All right. Then over here, invasive AI. When revealed, each player discards the top 3 cards of their deck. Ultron is hacking wireless networks around the world to create a global crisis. And then he also does +3, or plus an encounter card again. All right, and it has 6 threat. All right, 1, 2, 3. Bye bye Squirrel Girl. 1, 2, 3. All right, and then the other card is a concussive blast. Deal 1 damage to each friendly character. So 1 and 1. Everyone else is dead. Okay, and then we pass the rock. So the good news is all the guards are on 1 character, so we're kind of safe at this point. So with that in mind, I'll go ahead and do Superhuman Law Division just because I can. I'll discard the Quinn Carrier. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. Screw that. We're just going to do this. 2 damage to Ultron as I switch to this form. And then I'll punch for 3. And that's game. All right, not too shabby. As you can see, it definitely gets quickly out of control. it's almost like it's somewhat RNG whether or not you can even maintain the Crimson Cowl long enough. Um, because all it takes is for like if you have both people in Ultra Ego, it's pretty much guaranteed this is going to advance. If you have one person, you'll probably be okay. Well, actually, if you have one person and it's not She-Hulk doing I Object, or has some way of negating a scheme card, which there are some, there's Justice cards that do that, then it's pretty much, there's a good chance it will advance then. Just from a very high boost card, for example, because he had two from phase step one, and then has one scheme in phase one, and then gain 3 from this or something, 3 boost icons, and that alone will get you to 6. Obviously, once he goes to phase 2 and he has 2 scheme, it's even more of a it's much higher that it'll also advance. I mean, by the time you get to phase 2 on Ultron, more than likely you've already advanced on Crimson Cowl. Now, granted, this was with Captain Marvel and She-Hulk, and Captain Marvel was leadership and She-Hulk was protection. If we had someone that was yellow, which is justice, there are actually yellow justice cards that will do things that can actually completely interrupt scheming. There's also certain cards that can actually completely negate boost icons, but I don't have those in these particular decks. So the fact we held on as long as we did was a good thing. As you can see, it just gets really out of control. Crimson Cowl by itself doesn't really do anything, and phase 1 Ultron, you can just kind of, the amount of drones that get spawned is very much under your control. But once it gets to Assault on NORAD, as you can see, you're going to either be spawning drones every round, or you're going to quickly advance this way too fast. So that's why I went ahead and risked the YOLO and just tried to punch my way through everything. Yeah, I don't think I mean, I still had plenty of follow-ups I could have done. I could have, popped downtime Quinn Carrier to get out superhuman strength. One thing, and then I could also do repurpose here and discard this thing to get +2 to attack. So that would have been an activation here. Would have been 5/7. I would have hit for 7 damage and stunned. I would still have the +2 from the repurpose, which then I could immediately follow up with. I could have drawn a card first and used that energy to do 1/2 punch afterwards. In which case I would have hit for another 5. So it would have been 3. So I hit for 2 for the transformation, 3 for the regular hit, and then 7 for the double boosted attack. Brings up to 12, and then I would have done another 5, so 17 damage and a stun. So yeah, for both Captain Marvel and She-Hulk, once they get their stuff kitted out and they can afford to just focus on attacking, as you can see, they just pump out a lot of damage. I mean, we've already seen what Captain Marvel does when she has a full line of Avengers set up, which is really cool. I do like how you can kind of put together the machine and then let it rip once it's ready. I am glad that we at least got to do one of the Shadows of the Past. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to use it much. It is pretty dangerous. Yang Rong is pretty dangerous because he does just generate a lot of extra threat. Thankfully, Assault on NORAD gave us enough of a buffer that we were pretty much in control at that point. Obviously, Ultron can be very dangerous with his drones because not only is he adding a bunch of minions that you have to deal with, he's picking apart your deck, and as you can see, it just kind of it can very much cripple you if you end up losing certain cards. Like if I lost Superhuman Law Division, it could have been a lot more dangerous. Granted, I didn't really use this too much. I didn't really need to. Mainly because we got Spider-Woman out pretty early, so the confusion helped. As for the decks themselves, honestly, these are 2 solid characters, and it's nice that that you get them in the core box. Obviously, I'm using a mixture of cards from the core box and then all the other expansions, so it does help with the flexibility here. But yeah, Captain Marvel has a lot of free card draw, a lot of generation. She can heal as part of her ability. Like, honestly, she's insanely powerful. And I mean, I guess that makes sense because Captain Marvel is generally known as a very, very powerful character that most script writers don't know what to do with. Um, yeah, a lot of this, just a lot of card draw. Obviously, these are some of it is from her kit, and then some of it's from the cards that were added in that I added in, and so forth. I usually will go find a deck in Marvel DB that's already been made, and then I will tinker that to match whatever preferences I'm going for. She-Hulk did pretty well. Generally, it's generally better to go a leadership with She-Hulk because then you can just stay in alter ego and then let your minions do all the work. But since I was already using leadership on Captain Marvel, I went protection, and honestly, it wasn't too bad. On the energy barrier repurpose gets really good once you get the machine going, and then just kind of having the ability to kind of gradually regain health and stuff certainly helped. A combination of things like downtime and recuperation, she can really take a lot of damage. And she only has one ally, which is Hellcat, which is pretty good. Not only can it thwart 3 times for for 6 essentially, or you can do 4 thwarts and then put her back in your hand as either a resource, or you can just resummon her and just keep thwarting with her. So that's kind of the idea behind it. She-Hulk's biggest weakness, of course, is the 4 hand size when in hero form. But once you are kind of not needing the extra cards anymore, you can really just kind of tear into the opposition very quickly. Of course, things like symbiote suit can be very helpful as well. Though the one time I did do symbiote suit in one of my scrapped runs, it really kind of just felt like I was winning. I was already winning, and I was just winning faster or harder now. I haven't really reached a situation where I felt the need to play it sooner type situation. Part of that's also because I'm very scared of this icon here that makes more encounter cards appear. Now that I'm playing the game correctly and actually getting encounter cards every time I cycle through the deck, which I do very quickly, I'm a little less scared of encounter cards, but as you can see, they definitely can get really out of control, especially if you get things like Shadow of the Past. Also, spawning more encounter cards means you cycle through this deck faster, which means more acceleration, which we didn't really have to worry about acceleration. We actually didn't go for too many rounds. We actually got the machine put together very, very quickly. Being able to stay as Jennifer Walters for multiple rounds definitely helped get She-Hulk kind of up and running. And to be honest, we didn't really get up and running. It's just we kind of used Jennifer Walters to kind of buy time for Captain Marvel, who could set up much quicker. So yeah, there are 2 other module sets that are in the core set. I believe it's oops, sorry. Yeah, there's Legions of Hydra, which is difficulty 4, and then the Doomsday Chair, which is difficulty 5. The Under Attack module set that we had was difficulty 3. And then, of course, Bomb Scare is difficulty 1. So like I said in a previous video, I'm not going to mess with any of the custom module sets yet. When I play with friends, we sometimes will just do like a random villain with a random module set. But usually if it's a villain we've never fought before, then we'll usually always do the recommended for the first time, because usually it has some pretty good synergy with them. For just 3 villains, there's definitely enough variety here that you could play around with. Ultron's definitely kind of a big jump in difficulty. Obviously, if you have a deck more built around his mechanics, it can be a bit easier. We really only had Squirrel Girl and there's that Stomp ability that does 1 damage to everything, Ground Stomp here. Those were really the only things that could help wipe out the drones very quickly. But thankfully, we just blitzed so much damage, it didn't really matter. Many of the villains generally don't do well against rush strats, where you just punch as hard and as fast as possible. So it is what it is. And also, since this was my second time playing him, since I scrapped the previous run because of mistakes, I was already kind of well prepared on kind of what to expect for this. Obviously, the key here is just try to stay in phase 1 of the main scheme as long as possible, and then once it goes to go mode, then you're in go mode. The final step, the final scheme, by the way, not only does it spawn more drones, it's a main scheme where you cannot remove the threat from it. So it essentially becomes a countdown. So at that point, it is literally go mode. You're just trying to finish the boss before he blows up the world, essentially. So yeah, Really fun game. Most of my frustrations were mainly because I learned the game wrong, essentially. Um, the the core set does come with the rules reference and this how to play. You definitely generally the idea is the how to play definitely helps you get started. And then if you ever run into situations like what do you do when you run out of cards, for example, then you would look in here and just try to find that information. Um, the issue is I was going off information that was incorrect when I was taught the game, and then I made that assumption. Uh, that and also some of it's just habits from Arkham Horror, which of course has its own methods of handling encounter cards and stuff. I definitely like the idea that encounter cards can get handed to you, but they don't activate until a certain phase. I think that's rather useful and definitely makes the game a little bit less hectic. Anyway, that's a lot of rambling on my side. I do intend on doing the next expansion, which I believe is Rise of the Red Skull. It's going to introduces Hawkeye and Spider Woman, so I will be playing with Spider Woman, which I have some experience with. And then I believe her partner, I'm probably going to go with the Wasp, or Wasp, whatever her name is, who I don't have as much experience with, but I did play with her a bit before I realized I was playing the game wrong. So, and in the case of Rise of the Red Skull, there are 5 villains, so there are a lot to go through. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I am the Depressed Eeyore. This was Marvel Champions with Captain Marvel and She-Hulk versus Ultron, and I will see you next time.